It is 3 in the morning, and the thought you dismissed at noon in under a minute has somehow filled the entire room. During the day, it was a line item, an email you should not have sent, a payment coming due, a silence from someone you love that went on a little too long. And now, in the dark, it is the whole ledger, and you are lying very still beneath it, wondering which version of you was measuring correctly. The worry itself has not changed. That is the strange part. No new information arrived between the afternoon and the dark. The same fact that weighed a few grams at lunch now weighs as much as your life. Something is doing this to the thought, enlarging it or revealing it. And whatever that something is, it only operates at night. Most of us assume the night is adding distortion. It is worth asking, at least once, whether the day was subtracting something instead. Consider what your daytime actually consists of. Traffic, messages, meetings, small talk, errands, screens, the low administrative hum of staying alive. Blaise Pascal, writing in the 17th century, had a word for all of it: diversion. He claimed that nearly everything human beings do, work, games, gossip, even war, exists to keep us from sitting quietly in a room alone. Not because we are shallow, but because in the quiet certain facts become audible. That we are mortal. That we are not fully in control. That some things we have done cannot be undone. The day, in Pascal's picture, is not when you are strong. The day is when you are accompanied. A worry needs your full attention to reach its full size. This is the mechanism, stated plainly. At noon, the thought about the unsent apology had to compete with 40 other claims on your mind, so it appeared small, not because it was small, but because it was crowded. The night removes the crowd. No tasks, no audience, no next thing. And in that emptied room, the thought finally gets what it has been asking for all day: you, undivided. What you experience at 3 in the morning as an ambush may simply be the first honest interview. There is a real case for the other side, and it deserves its hearing. Sleep researchers describe what happens in a brain kept awake past its depth of night. The prefrontal cortex, the part that handles proportion, context, and the word eventually, is running on almost nothing, while the older, alarm-keeping parts of the brain remain wide awake. Psychologists who study the mind at rest have found that when you are doing nothing, the brain does not idle. It switches into a wandering, self-referential mode that loops through the past and rehearses the future. At 3 in the morning, you are, in effect, all alarm and no perspective. The worry is real, but its size is a trick of the hour. Wait for daylight, this view says, and the thought will return to scale. Both of these accounts are true, and that is the uncomfortable part. The night lies to you about the size of the thing. The day lies to you about its existence. Your noon self, gliding from task to task, tells you the worry is handled, when in truth it has merely been outrun, and you know it has been outrun, because here it is again, patient as ever, at the foot of the bed. The night self exaggerates. The day self evades. Neither one is the honest one. Honesty would be a self that could hold the worry at its true size, in full attention, without flinching, and you almost never get to be that self, because attention and proportion keep opposite hours. Notice what kind of thoughts actually make the night shift. It is rarely the practical ones. The unpaid bill shows up, yes, but it drags company with it, whether you have become the person you meant to be, whether an old friendship died of your neglect, how much time is left. The philosopher Martin Heidegger drew a line between fear, which has an object, and anxiety, which does not. Anxiety, he thought, is what you feel when the world's ordinary busyness falls away, and you are left facing the bare fact of your own existence, unfinished and yours alone. The bill at 3 a.m. is not really about money. It is a door the deeper questions walk through, once the day is no longer there to hold it shut. Emil Cioran, a Romanian philosopher who barely slept for years of his young life, called insomnia a vertiginous lucidity, a lucidity he half hated and half trusted. He noticed that the sleepless hours strip away the roles a person performs. At 3 in the morning, you are not your job title, not your reputation, not your plans. You are just the one lying there. That is a brutal reduction, and also a kind of accuracy. Almost everything you will do tomorrow depends on forgetting it, which may be why the thoughts wait for night. It is the only appointment where you show up without your defenses, and they know it. What do these thoughts actually want from you? Look at their behavior. They return nightly, like someone knocking who knows you are home. They do not want to be solved at 3 in the morning. You have tried solving, and the solving mind is exactly the part of you that is off duty. They want to be received. A worry that has been genuinely looked at, named, sat with, granted its real weight for even a few minutes, loses its urgency in a way that a worry outrun never does. The knocking is not cruelty, it is persistence on behalf of something you keep filing under later. Try, then, a small reversal. Give the thoughts a daytime appointment. Not a productivity trick, a change of posture. At some quiet point in the afternoon, while your sense of proportion is still awake, deliberately open the drawer the night keeps opening for you. Ask the 3 a.m. question in daylight. What is this worry actually about? Underneath the bill, underneath the email. You will find it smaller than it looked in the dark and larger than the day pretended, which is to say, you will finally see it at something like its true size. Thoughts that have been received in the light have far less reason to wake you in the dark. The person on the ceiling at 3 in the morning is not your enemy, and not an imposter. That is perhaps the whole shift. The night self is you without the crowd, frightened, unproportioned, but asking real questions the day never leaves room for. You do not have to believe everything it says, its sense of scale is genuinely broken. But you might stop dismissing everything it raises, because it is the only version of you with the nerve to raise it. The goal is not to silence the night. The goal is to stop making it the only time you are willing to listen. There will still be nights when the room fills anyway, because you are human and the dark is long. When it happens, you can meet it a little differently, not as a malfunction to be fixed, but as the day's unfinished conversation, arriving at the only hour you are finally free. If this gave you something to sit with, that is what this channel is for. Small shifts in how you see your own life. I will see you in the next one.